I suppose the main thing that I would say is to monitor that migrant children are being included in play, and educators may choose to mediate the social play interactions. So again, going back and ensuring that the peers are remaining in tune to migrant children's non-verbal initiations of play and to facilitate their overall interactions. There's lots of different types of play. I mean, there's constructive play, sensory play, imaginative play. But to go in new and thinking, oh God, where do I actually start with all this? We know from the literature that migrant children can particularly benefit from more structured play opportunities or games with rules, with some other research highlighting that they may actually find it difficult to engage with more abstract and imaginative play. So maybe setting up opportunities for more structured play, which again creates that sense of order, logic, routine. The rules remain constant. There isn't that need for extensive language input. So children have the time to make sense of the play world around them, especially when adults may be stretched on the ground in terms of the involvement that they can provide in play. And that's not to say that we shouldn't be engaging in or planning for imaginative play, but I suppose just when incorporating imaginative play or thinking about those more abstract play, that we really plan for it carefully and that you ensure there's enough and extensive adult support there to help migrant children be included in those type of more abstract play opportunities.
Since these children are practicing the new language, it is important to give them clear indications of beginning and end of activities. We can use visuals and signs to help them understand what will happen during the day and how the activity will be laid out. Being in an unfamiliar language environment can be very tiring, and these children may need time to think, to reflect, and to absorb around the new language around them. And so I think it's necessary for us to give them a break from English, but be ready to respond when the children start the conversations and interactions. And we can provide some opportunities for these children to practice and use the new language extensively by asking more open-ended questions and by asking closed questions with great care. And if these children, they know the answer of the question, they can express it in English. However, if overused closed questions, it can stifle and their growth will lead to a sense of failure if they cannot answer.
It's really about what we would see in the literature in terms of small group kind of collaborative play opportunities, which can enhance the visibility of all children and facilitate these interactions. It also, really important to incorporate children's interests and preferences, which can provide a really valuable opportunity to consult with parents perhaps, and as well directly with children themselves in terms of their own interests and preferences within the classroom play environment.
Parents, we know, are the experts in their children's life. We know that engaging parents improves children's outcomes if they're aware of what it is that they're learning within the context of the early years environment and in school. So I think the involvement of parents is absolutely critical. I've been working with children and families now for 30 years, so originally when I started out, there wasn't as rich a diversity of families that I would have met initially. So a lot of it has been a learning journey for me in educating myself as to how it is that I can be more inclusive. I asked one of the parents if they would like to come in and read their child's favourite story in their own language, and that everybody would sit down, we'd all listen, and just the look on that child's face when their parent came into our environment and sat down with their favourite story and spoke in their language to everybody, and they just the pride in that was absolutely fabulous. So that became a common thing. We would invite all the parents in to do story time, and that really kind of that sits with me and something that I would share regularly, so that that if somebody's not already doing that, they could think, oh yeah, we can do that, and it's so easy, but seeing the pride in that child just was fabulous. You need to be very mindful when your parents are coming, whether they're from a migrant background or not, how much it is that they want to share about their family and their background. But again, if you don't give them opportunities to engage with you. And it's about the relationship building, you know, finding out about the child before they come to the setting, having your open evenings and inviting all parents in, you know, and just having a warm, welcoming environment, that it is a safe space to share whatever you would like to share or not, you know, but that you are welcome, that your child is welcome, that your culture is welcome, that your values are welcomed within the context of the setting. So it starts with practical steps around, you know, the first time a parent knocks on your door and you say to them, you're welcome, come on in, or, you know, see what it is that we do here. And that if your environment is an inclusive environment, you might have, you know, your family wall reflecting the different cultures that are currently within the setting, but also if you have, you know, welcome in different languages, you know, that it actually reflects the languages that are current within the setting.
I think it's very important and to value and welcome and celebrate the cultural diversity in our ECE classroom. We know from many research studies that adults who engage children within culturally responsive learning experiences can improve their awareness and appreciation of diverse cultures, beliefs and values, and it can prevent even social and educational exclusion and promote the children's long-term academic success.
Something that I heard before from Wendy Lee, she does a lot of work with migrant families in New Zealand, and she says that the culture of the child cannot enter the classroom until it enters the teacher's consciousness. So if you don't know what the culture of the child is, you can't reflect that in your environment. So that's something to think about from an educator's perspective.
These children, they bring their own set of culturally based values, beliefs, interests, and their own talents into the setting. And so for the ECE educators, I think we should help them develop a pride in who they are and to improve their confidence, to express their opinions and to make choices that affect their learning and themselves. As early childhood educators, we should act as mediators of the host country's language and culture, and while valuing and celebrating the children's home language and culture to create inclusive and equal environment that is responsive to the children's unique values, interests, strengths and abilities. I think we can intentionally including culturally diverse resources such as cooking utensils and food packages, costume and dolls. I think they allow the children to engage with the cultural touchstones, and they also may apply some narrative understanding from the home life in the setting. When the children say their home life is visible, they feel more connected to the setting and the learning becomes more contextualized, effective and meaningful. And I think also the language of the music is universal and diverse, so it may be exploring the music from different country and culture by hosting like a world music dance party can be a fun way to celebrate diversity. So we can invite parents and children and to share their traditional stories, songs and food and costume from their culture. We need to be particularly careful not to group and cultures according to where they come from or to use stereotypes. We should keep a critical consciousness when planning for activities and conducting these activities to ensure that these festivals or celebrations do not perpetuate stereotypical assumptions. For example, we can involve children and the family from diverse backgrounds in preparation and decision-making process, and it will help us to capture their cultural practices more accurately.
You can say, I want to be inclusive, but how can I be more inclusive? I think it's important that we ask parents what it is that they'd like, and it's important that we'd ask children based on their experiences what it is that they'd like.